So hello everyone, welcome to our workshop on cultural adjustment and emotional self-care. And I'm delighted to introduce our speaker, Yushi Wang. And she has relationships with many international students through her counselor practice. She speaks Mandarin and has traveled overseas to prepare prospective Rutgers students and their families for what they will experience in the United States. And so that's a short description of what she is doing. And Yushi, now time is yours.
All right, thank you so much for the great introduction. Thank you everyone, and thank you for inviting me. And my name's, is Yushi Wang, and I'm one of the community-based counselors from Rutgers Counseling Center. So 2020 has definitely been a tough year, right? We have this global pandemic, and the recent political and social events have really brought a lot of stress and anxiety. So during a crisis, many people don't even know what they need because we're all trying to cope with this new normal. And so today, I just want to create this safe space for everyone to talk and kind of support each other. And so the first thing we're going to do is I want to take a little break from the outside world, right? And just take a deep breath and anchoring in the present. So this is actually to help you focus on what's going on in the here and now, meaning we're going to stay in the present time, okay? Not thinking about the past, not thinking about the future, right? Just focusing on right now. And one nice thing about anchoring in the present is that it can be used at any time or any situation or anywhere, right? So over time, if you can use this strategy, and it can help you to feel less overwhelmed and less stressful, okay? So let's first talk a little bit about why we think it can be helpful to focus on the present moment, right? Because a lot of times our body is actually in the present moment, but our mind is not, right? We tend to think about what we're going to do next, right? Or we worry about, oh, I just had an interaction with one of my friends, right? Did I say that thing right, right? So even though our body is here, but our mind is somewhere else, right? So our body and mind are not connected, right? So when we are experiencing a strong emotion, our thoughts often go back in the past situation, right? Something that have happened in the past or what may happen in the future, right? So I will describe a few steps that we can do to anchoring ourselves in the present time. And then we can, walk through and practice them together. So first is that step number one, we're going to use a cue, right? So this can be internal, right? Like focusing on your breath, right? So the breath is always happening in the present, right? We're breathing right now. So that can be your internal cue, right? So that can be, something that you can focus on your breathing and bring yourself to the present time. Or you can push your feet firmly against the floor. Or it can be external, right? Sometimes people like to focusing on something else, right? Something maybe in front of you, like a picture frame, or something that you hear. So something that's external, right? So a lot of times when we're working at home, right, or we're studying at home, right, external may be too much for you, right? Sometimes like you may have like a lot of noises coming from outside world. So it's actually better for you to focus on internal. right? So whatever you do, just pick either internal or external. And then we're going to really pick, we'll do this 3-point check, right? So what am I thinking right now? And how are you feeling physically, right? What is your body telling you? Is your body tense, right? Is your shoulders up, right? Because when we're stressed, we're shoulders like this, right? And how are we doing? And then ask yourself, it's your thoughts, how you're feeling in your body is consistent with what's going on right now. And what is focusing on what is actually, happening right now in the present time, right? Right now you're listening to a workshop, right? And is your body relaxed or is that still tense? Maybe you just finished studying, right? Maybe you're still tense. So now kind of try to relax your body a little bit, right? We're trying to relax. And so, yeah, so that's when you notice when your thoughts and your emotions and your body are not in line with the present. Right? So that means that you are probably thinking about the past or thinking about the future. So now what you need to do is try to get your thoughts back to the present moment. And then, so think about what we just did, right? And see what works for you, because something may works for you, may not work for someone else, right? So someone may prefer internal cue, someone may prefer external cue. So think about which cue you would like to use in the future, right? So I really recommend you to do this at least once a day, right? So this is kind of like practicing mindfulness, right? So mindfulness, a lot of research have been done. It would decrease stress and it would increase your concentration because you're actually focusing on one thing, right? And now we are actually going to talk about the phase of cultural adjustment. Adapting to a new culture is always, hard for anybody, right? And so the pace could vary from a person to a person, right? So sometime like someone may adjust really quickly, someone may, it may take a little while for you to adjust, right? So the first phase is the honeymoon phase, right? So this is when you first come to this country, you're really, really excited and you're very optimistic. And a lot of times you actually focus on the positive, right? I remember when I came here as an international student, I was so happy because I could eat pizza all the time, right? Because when I was in China, I eat pizza maybe like once a year, right? So the fact that I can actually eat pizza every night if I could, that made me happy, right? Then, right, then you realize that actually eating pizza every single night, it's not what you want, right? And then you're like, wow, like this pizza is like eating pizza every night is like actually not, as good as I thought it was, right? And then a lot of times people may have really high expectations during honeymoon phase, right? Oh, wow, like this university is amazing, is awesome, right? I'm gonna get straight A's, right? Then you start taking classes, and because the communication style is different, right? The writing style, writing form is very different. And then you actually to get disappointed. You're like, wow, like you actually see the other side of this culture. right? So every single culture has its positive and a negative, right? So disappointment phase, you start to see a little bit of, you know, the differences. And then everybody, I think, go through cultural shock, right? And then I think that, everybody have heard of this, and it's kind of like the inner feeling, right? The tension, the conflict that experienced by individuals or groups. It could be a group of students, right? As a result of living in the new culture, right? So in this stage, students should understand that everybody go through this and your experience is normal. And then is the last phase, right? So after you have been here for a while, and you have adjusted to this culture, and you have adjusted your expectations, and this is like how you kind of like marry the two cultures, right? You can practice the new culture, but also holding on to the your own culture. And, a lot of times, because culture shock is such this like inner tension, right? Not a lot of people can actually um, observe it, unless you show it, right? So unless you tell people, oh, I'm feeling really sad, or, I'm having difficulty sleeping, a lot of times, a lot of students feel like they're going through this by themselves, right? Because everybody is looking really happy, right? Nobody is really sharing, and everybody is very happy on social media, right? Facebook, Instagram, everybody is eating good food, right? So a lot of times students feel really, really alone in this. And then, they start isolate, right? So they may experience sad or anxious mood, difficulty sleeping. They may lose appetite or even interest in things they normally enjoyed. And a lot of times during this phase, students actually go to the health clinic, right? Because they have headaches, right? They tell doctor, oh, I'm having difficulty breathing. It's because of the anxiety that they're experiencing. So, but a lot of times we don't know about anxiety until we start feeling it, and then we can't really like tell you, oh, I'm feeling anxious, until we go to the doctor and the doctor tells us, oh, this is anxiety, right? And so next thing I want to kind of talk about is, everybody should have a personal plan, right? Because we're going through these phases, right? We want you to be ready, right? And everybody go through these phases differently. So here are, some kind of like tips, but again, you can also make your own personal plan. So during the honeymoon phase, the best thing to do is actually, because you're so optimistic, right? So we want you to actually set smaller and more realistic goals, because in this phase, you tend to have like a lot of high expectations, right? And then even like when you make a to-do list, right? Even if you know that you're going to write an essay for 2 hours, give yourself 3 hours to do it. Okay. Because if you can finish in 2 hours, you can actually feel better. Okay. But if you actually, it takes like 2.5 hours, a lot of students may criticize themselves and start thinking about how come it took me so long. Right. So it's really, really important to set smaller goals, and also seek help from your advisors. We have so many resources on campus, academic advisors, and we have dean of students. And, it's even in the honeymoon phase, it's really, really nice to see what kind of supports are out there, right? So when you need them, then you know where to go, right? So always make friends. know your advisors, know where the health services are, health clinics are, and make new friends, right? And then also keep in touch with your friends at home, and learn about different organizations and different clubs, right? This is how you can get engaged and learn about the new culture. And so in the disappointment phase, sometimes students forget to take care of their body, right? Because they're so involved mentally, they forgot that they need to really take care of themselves. Right? So please make sure that you eat a good meal and get enough sleep, and then also maintain a positive perspective. And make sure that you do things that you really like, you really enjoy, right? So in this phase, I want you to really think about 3 things that you enjoy to do, right? When you're not feeling well, what are the things that you can do to actually make your day, right? Or even make you smile or change your mood. It could be going outside for a walk. It could be listening to music. It could be watching comedy. And also, I want to talk a little bit about the Let's Talk services at CAPS. So, Let's Talk is actually not a therapy session. So the counseling center, we have different therapists in the community. So it depends on what school you go to. If you want to talk to a therapist that work in your school, that's completely fine. So let's say if you're an engineer, you're at School of Engineering. We actually have therapists at School of Engineering, pharmacy, Mason Grows, business. So you can just call CAPS and you can make an appointment for half an hour or an hour, and you can just talk about what's going on in your life. Either do you have like one thing that you need to talk about, right? To check in with the professional. It's just a very simple consultation, and it's drop in, right? Drop in meaning that at 3 o'clock you want to talk to a therapist, just call CAPS, and we all have like our let's talk hours. So from Monday through Friday, different campuses, even now, like we have all virtual. So just call CAPS, and if you're feeling stressed, call CAPS and make a let's talk appointment. And then if you want ongoing therapy, then you can talk to your let's talk therapist and say, hey, like I really enjoy talking to you, and can I see you maybe every other week, right? And then also talk to your professors and academic advisor, because a lot of times, I think it due to the academic culture, right? A lot of students are really scared to talk to their professors, right? Even they're having difficulty in class. They think that their professor is talking too fast, or they're really not understanding the material. They're very, very shy, and they tell me about it. And then I said, do you talk to your professor? Oh no, I'm like really scared. Right. And I said, the professors are there for you, right? Like tell them. And so it's very different, like I think in America, that the professors are here for you, and they are really eager to help you. So just send an email to your professor, and also seek help from other, right? So maybe, your friends are going through the same thing, right? So like I said, that everybody go through this cultural adjustment. And so in the culture shock phase, right? So we talked about seeking a medical doctor. Even if you don't feel like you want to see a medical doctor, right? I really urge you to do it, right? First of all, everything is free on campus, right? You can see doctors, you can see counselors, everything is free and everything is confidential. Because a lot of times students don't want to come to counseling center because they feel like if they talk to the counselor, their professor is going to know, right? It may affect their grade or their advisor if they're a PhD student. So I can assure you that whatever you disclose at the counseling center, everything will be confidential unless you come to counseling center and sign a release form. Nobody will know, right? That you have used the counseling services. And in this cultural shock phase, we really, really encourage you to actually come to the counseling center. Well, right now you can't really come to the counseling center, but you can just call and really make an appointment with a therapist and see how we can best help you, because you may really need like extra support for like a month or two, right? For you to get through this hump. And also avoid extra stress. So during this phase, when things are a little too much, try not to say yes to everything. Right. So a lot of times your friends would say, oh, hey, like, let's go here and there, even though you don't feel like it. And then you say yes. Right. But then that may push you a little further, right, down the road, and then avoid big changes. Right. And really seek emotional support from your family, from friends. And then again, practice mindfulness, what we just practiced, anchoring yourself in the present, right? Bring yourself back. Because a lot of times if we think about the past or the future, that will really, really change your mood, right? Because you're worried about the past or you're worried about the future. The uncertainty always triggers the anxiety, right? But the present is certain, is right now, right? And you can actually focus on, like, you can actually control it, right? But you can't really control what happened in the past or what happened in the future. And also, just like I said, there are so many resources. Are You Global, Academic Advisor, Dean of Student, Writing Center, all of these services, or even on campus, different organizations, clubs. So just reach out, right? The more support you have, the better you will feel. Right. And then in the resolution phase, which is the last one, is when you actually feel comfortable, right? You are more flexible with both cultures. And really in this phase, share your experience, right? Share it with freshmen, right? Someone who's younger, right? Tell them how you have been through this phase and share tips. And then just really be proud, right? And I think that that's so important, because a lot of times when we come to this new country, we feel like we don't belong to this country because we're not American. But then our old country, people think that we're Americanized, right? So we feel like we're the outsider, right? But truth is, you are actually bicultural, and that's who you are, right? That is your new identity, right? Just really be proud. And now I kind of want to talk a little bit about self-care, because self-care is so important. And because the more we nurture ourselves through self-care, the more we can actually support others, right? Like, we all have, traveled, right? And when you're on the airplane, what do they tell you, right? You put on the mask on yourself first, and then you help others, right? So that's kind of like self-care. And also a lot of times, like, I hear students say that, oh, I feel bad doing self-care because I feel like my time is wasted. So I normally say that, do you feel bad charging your computer? Do you feel bad charging your cell phone? And they're like, no. And then I said, "Oh, how come you cannot charge yourself, right?" So self-care is kind of like you charge yourself, you charge your soul, right? You charge yourself emotionally and physically, right? So self-care is any activity that we do deliberately in order to take care of our mental, emotional, and physical health, right? It is not selfish. So actually, everybody has different self-care routine. So what I want you to take a moment to really think about, what kind of things do you do that makes you happy, right? Think about it and make sure you take time to relax, right? Because research actually shows that if you actually go out for a walk for 30 minutes, your memory will increase by 15%. So actually, and then if you actually exercise, 30 minutes, your brain also produce dopamine, which is, make you happy, right? So a lot of times you can just sit there. You can sit there for 8 hours, but really your productivity is probably 4 hours, right? And then a lot of times like students say, oh, I don't have time, but really like, think about your day, right? You can actually use that 5 minutes, go outside, take a little break, and actually that will make you work better and faster if you take that break. And then take care of your body, right? And make sure you get exercise, sleep, eat well, and avoid a lot of caffeine, right? A lot of times students tell me that I cannot sleep. And then I ask them, do you drink coffee? Oh yeah, like I drink coffee, I drink energy drink. It's so much, they load up so much on caffeine and they can't sleep at night. And now I would like to really talk about emotional self-care. Because a lot of times when we talk about self-care, the first thing you think about is the physical self-care, right? Everybody tells you sleep well, eat well, but emotional self-care is often overlooked. And a lot of times students don't come to the counseling center until they just cannot take it anymore, right? They're so overwhelmed, right? So I normally say that our emotions are kind of like a cup, right? If you keep filling with water, keep filling it, what's going to happen? It's going to overflow, right? Our emotions are the same thing, right? If you just keep avoiding it, then it just like keep building it. I mean, it keep like stacking in your body until one day something triggers and then it's too much for you. And then you actually like think, oh, wow, like that's actually like something so minor. Why did I get so angry? Why did I get so irritated? It's probably because you have been burying those emotions for probably days, weeks, or months, right? So it's really important for us to really think about where are we at emotionally, right? Because our emotions change from moment to moment, depending on our thoughts. Right. So if you want to change your emotions, a lot of times you have to really observe because whenever you have a negative thought, you're going to feel that negative emotion. When you have a positive thought, you're going to have a positive emotion. So it's really, really important to check in with yourself and honor your emotions, right? So here are some questions that you can ask yourself, right? How are you doing with all that is going on? Right? Because a lot of times when it's too busy, we have a lot of midterms, we have a lot of chapters to read, and you don't really check in with yourself. So even though you're anxious, you're nervous about your exam, you're not really noticing it, right? And then later on, we're going to do a meditation. And sometimes when I suggest, meditation to student, right? The student would tell me, oh, I don't like meditation. It makes me so uncomfortable, right? Or it makes me so sleepy, or it makes me so angry, right? And then I ask them, do you know that you have been feeling like that? It's not the meditation that's causing you. It's just because you're doing meditation, you're actually paying attention to your emotions. And that's when you notice that, those emotions, right? So it's really, you have to honor your emotion and express it, right? And then a lot of times be aware of how you talk to yourself, because that's really important. It really, really, like how you talk to yourself is how you will feel, right? And on the left side, these are, different things that you can do, right? So how are you going to check in with yourself, and how are you going to, ask yourself these questions, right? So you can, start a journal, right? Every single night, just even take 2 minutes to check in with yourself. How am I doing, right? And what are the the small things that I can do differently to improve, right? What are the things that are in my control? Because a lot of times when we're feeling anxious, we are focusing on what are the things that are out of our control, right? Like a pandemic. Nobody can control the pandemic. And that actually caused a lot of anxiety in everyone. So when you notice that you have been paying a lot of attention to something that is out of your control, try to really think about what are the things in my control, right? For example, in the pandemic, right? I can't really control the pandemic, but what can I control? Well, I can maybe take more vitamins, right? Or I can eat healthy. Try to wear, well, not try, but wear a mask, right? Social distance, or even try not to really like go outside where like there are a lot of people, right? Just be very, very careful. And those are the things that you can actually control. And express your feelings, right? Just like I said, right? Don't avoid it, because if you avoid it, you're ended up just saving it in your emotional bank in your body. And if you are willing, I really want to invite you to do a very short meditation. And you can turn off your camera if you would like. We're going to kind of like practicing how to focus in the present time. Okay? So take a few moments to get yourself comfortable. Feet flat on the floor, back straight, neck straight. Now, I invite you to close your eyes and just focus on your breathing, noticing how the air enters and exits your body, feeling your stomach rise on every inhale and fall on every exhale. Take a moment to let your breath slow down, feeling your body. All that matters in this moment is your breath and the words you're hearing. Anytime your mind wanders, that's okay. Just return your awareness back to these words, back to your breath. And as your breath becomes softly and slowly, you feel yourself letting go. Watch the thought as it enters your awareness as naturally as possible. Then practice letting go of the thought as if it were a leaf flowing down a stream. In your mind, place each thought that arises on a leaf and watch as it flows out of sight down the stream. Then bring your attention back to your breath. And as your breathing continues to soften and deepen, you begin to sense the glow of a soft blue light beginning to flow down over the top of your head, flowing over your face, bringing deep relaxation as the soft blue light continues to flow down your neck, into your shoulders and your arms. Everywhere the soft blue light touches, your body experiences a release. As you enter into relaxation, you feel the soft blue light continues down your chest, your back, your torso. Feel yourself sinking into this wave of peace and relaxation. As the blue light continues down through your hips, your thighs, your knees, and all the way down into the soles of your feet, so that your entire being is illuminated in soft blue light. And you feel every cell within you relaxing and letting go. Take this peaceful feeling with you as you slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, and waking your body back up for a more relaxed and peaceful stay. And whenever you're ready, slowly rise. As you open your eyes back to the room around you. How was it?
Feel good.
Good. Anyone else wants to share?
Yeah, it was relaxing.
Oh, good.
Actually, I do it every day.
Great. Wonderful. And do you do it like in the morning or in the evening?
Uh, at night while sleeping, before sleeping.
Okay. That's great. I hope it was helpful for you guys. And so just a little information about CAPS. So it's the counseling center on campus. We provide individual psychotherapy, group therapy. So actually group therapy, we probably offer 40 to 50 different type of groups. So whatever topics that you can think of, we probably offer group therapy, right? Range from grief and loss to marijuana smoking. We have green room, we have depression, we have anxiety, we have coping with your emotions, a lot of different groups. And we also have on-call services from Monday through Friday during the working hours, so from 8:30 to 4:30. So if you want to talk to a therapist and your emotions is really, really overwhelming, and you can call CAPS and you don't have to make an appointment, and you can talk to an on-call therapist. And we also have psychiatric care. So if you need medication, let's say if your depression or anxiety is too much and you really need to take medication for a few months, we do have psychiatrists on campus. And then we also have community-based services. So right now, because everything is virtual, but before we have different therapists on different campuses. So we put different therapists in different schools, so you don't have to leave your school to see a therapist. And we also provide Let's Teletalk, which you can, it just the consultation that I talked about, and in different workshops, just like something like this that we are doing. And please let us know if there's any other workshops that you will like us to do. And we also have alcohol and other drugs harm reduction and sober support. So if you feel like you are using too much drugs or alcohol, we actually use this harm reduction model. We're not going to just tell you to quit, right? So we want to help you to reduce the harm. And then we also provide sober housing. And if you actually don't want to see someone on campus, and we also do referrals to community therapists or psychiatrists as well. And our phone number is on the bottom, 848-932-7884. So if you want to make an appointment for Let's Talk or for individual therapy, you can simply just call that number. Right now, because everything is virtual, just leave us your phone number, your name, and then we're going to call you back for on-call and for appointment. And here are a lot of links that I think that it could be helpful for you to go through, especially right now. It's definitely a difficult time for everyone. So here are all the links that that could be helpful. So please check them out. And I think that's it. Thank you so much. And please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. That was very insightful.
Good. I'm glad.
So actually, I wanted to ask one question. So I came here in spring for my master's. I'm from India, and I came here in spring. And so, like, within just 1.5 months, this COVID started, and
Oh God, yeah.
everything has been remote, and like, so it's like the classes are remote. So, like you said, you should focus on the present, but like, I mean, how do you like? Sometimes it's like too overwhelming. I mean, so like sitting like you can't get out of the apartment much. Like there are no things to do. Like, and like you can't meet anyone, and so you have to just like sleep there, get up, just cook food, and just attend lectures and or study. And like in like it's like you are confined in a space. Like I even if you go out for a walk or so, like a run, but still like you spend most of your time in the apartment or like your apartment or like house. So like how do you cope with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very, very difficult. So like, I really don't think that there is one solution, right? So I think that we're all trying to deal with this, right? This is really the new normal. Like none of us have ever imagined, right? On New Year's Eve, right? We're all like so excited about 2020. And so I completely understand where you're coming from. So what I would do is I would really like balance your day, right? So kind of, because when we're talking about wellness, right, for example, it's 7 dimensional, right? There's spiritual, right? There is school, there's work, there's financial, there is emotional, right? So what I would do is I maybe just try to think about it in that 7 dimension, and then also social, right? So for, kind of like plan your day, right? Like for work, what can you do, right? Maybe look for internships, right? For school, I think we have like a lot of things to do for school. And social, right? Make sure that you at least reach out to one friend, right? Physical, right? Maybe go outside for a walk. And financial, so think about, maybe think about saving or investing, and then really, and spiritual, right? I don't know, like maybe praying, right? Or so do kind of like do a lot of different things to like kind of like switch it up a little bit, because like whenever we get into like this like routine of things, then we kind of like, I don't know, we kind of just get tired of it. So what I would do is I would kind of like find like new hobby, right? Like
Okay.
maybe like try different, like try new things, or even like right now on campus, there are a lot of different things, even social events, they're virtual, right? Like try to, I know it's like really hard to meet new people, but like try to go to different events, right? Go talk to everyone. And even sometimes for you to talk to someone and someone say, oh my God, I feel the same way, right? I mean, like right now, I completely feel you because I don't really like go a lot of places, right? Just to be safe. So I really feel the same, right? So I try to sometimes like I picked up like a couple hobbies. Now I like to read. And I just try to, every single day set like positive intentions is always like helpful as well, right? You have to kind of like make sure that you're in this like positive spirit, right? And just see what works, because sometimes like you may try something and it doesn't work, and try something else.
Okay.
I know this is like super general. I don't know. But it really like it's, try different things, and
Okay.
um and even like try to say something positive to to yourself every single day, right? Because I think that's really really important, because this will pass, right? And sooner or later this will pass, and we just have to make sure that we stay strong, stay healthy.
But like you won't get the experience like I mean, the next spring is also going to be. This spring is also going to be virtual. So like, if I'll complete my masters, and but I won't get the experience. So like, so that
Yeah.
is one other, like, I mean, that feeling.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. Um, I don't know. Is there any way that you can? I mean, I don't know, because like I can't even tell you to delay a semester, because I know a lot of international students are delaying a semester. But sometimes that may not be suitable for you, and we may not even have vaccine, right? So I yeah, so that's really tough. That's really tough. Um, but what I really believe is that whatever difficulty that we actually face, it will makes us stronger, right? So then I think that whatever happens, there's always the positive and the negative, right?
Okay.
Even the pandemic, yeah, you may not have the experience, but maybe this is a way for you to really focus on yourself, right? Because I feel like Even for me, I feel like before we're all so busy and then we're so distracted externally, right? And not a lot of, we don't have a lot of time to really just sit at home and focus on yourself, right? And then actually this time is really great because you can really focus on yourself and maybe kind of develop your sense of being, right? Your identity, right? I think that's something positive. So I think that, you know, a lot of things, yeah, like it's, you know, you may not have the experience, but it also makes you stronger. And then, you know, later on, I feel like you are definitely way ahead of a lot of people in terms of emotional toughness, right? So yeah, so it's just, I would just, you know, really try to focus on the positive and you know, try to experience this virtual, right, virtual world as we all like trying to gauge in and try to there's still a lot of like virtual things on campus, so I would you know, definitely encourage you to get involved and then even talk to different professors and to say like, hey, you know, I missed out on this whole year. Tell me about the experience, right? What are normally, you know, student, or even talk to someone who has like, you know, went through this, right? And then I think that International Friends is a great organization, right? Because a lot of, you know, a lot of volunteers have you know, have the experience. And so really just talk to them and try to get the best of it, like out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish I have a magic wand and I can like have this pandemic stop so you can experience, you know.
Uh, I
Yeah.
know that like no one has a magic wand, but like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's difficult, and I like we don't know when. Like we had heard some news about the vaccine, but like I don't know, like no one knows like when is it going to be normal, like
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's so interesting because like a lot of times people even say like we can't really go back to completely the normal that we're used to, like 100%, right? We're never going to go back, right? It could be, you know, sometime like we may now can work from home like 2 days a week, or you know, we do, you know, things differently now. So this definitely changed everyone's life.
Okay.
Yeah. But thank you for the question. um
Vanit, I want to voice this up. So our group IFAR, where the purpose of our group is support students, international students
Okay.
especially. Yeah. So at least the chat and some friendship, you know, I hope that could make you feel better.
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes like chatting is, you know, it's great.
Yes.
So
Okay.
yeah, join a lot of these like workshops, events, meet new friends.
Meeting people is the like problem. Like I mean, it's not the same with virtual. Like
Yeah.
yeah, but
e-
still yeah, we
yeah,
have.
exactly.
And like I got to know some people, but like that they moved back to their home, like with their parents, or like uh some of them stay far away from here, like even if they knew or like stay over here near the university campus. So like it's, and like you can't meet because of that reason, so it's like it's difficult, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely difficult. And then we don't even have a lot of international, like you said, we don't have a lot of international student on campus now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they are like meeting them is risky. Meeting anyone is risky.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that was like, this was insightful, very insightful, helpful. So thank
Yeah,
you for that.
anytime, anytime. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm actually going to share a survey link. So if you don't mind, I would love to hear your feedback. And then I'm going to share it in the chat.
Okay.